This video is about local legends on Strava. So it is a pretty nice feature that came in 2020, I believe, on Strava. That's pretty useful if you're not necessarily running for a CR, for a course record on a specific segment, but you still want to compete in some other way, and so you want to compete as a local legend. So that really means who ran that course or that segment the most times in a specific period. So that period is 90 days. So it's set up to track all the events in the past 90 days, and it's a rolling period to check who ran it the most times. So in that way you can compete, because some of these course records are actually pretty crazy and would take a long time to try and beat. But a course record is actually another nice way to compete. So just want to show you how to access it quickly. If you go on the app itself, you open Strava and you go to your profile, you'll see, if you scroll down profile 2 where you find segments, you'll see under segments, you've got your start segments, and then you've got the CRs that you might have made, and then there's another tab called local legends. And here on local legends, you can actually see the different segments that you achieved as the local legend. So this is one that I managed to make. So I've got a total of 14 efforts. Now this histogram that you see here at the bottom, I believe this is not visible to the free subscription model. So only the premium subscription can actually see this histogram, but it's a pretty useful way to track and compare your level of efforts with those with other people that run the same segment that you do. So this is really what it means. It's just for competition. So if we look on the Strava website, actually, so if I just go there quickly, then I'll show you. If you log into the Strava website and you go to your profile, you can find your segments there as well at the bottom or in the middle of the page. You can see your overview, trophy case, following. Here's your CRs again. So if I just click on them, you'll see which routes you have the course record, but there's also local legends. And this is pretty nice. You can see exactly what that segment is. And then if you click on that, it'll open the actual segment entry to show you who has the fastest times for that and who is the local legend for that. So fastest times, you can see, is pretty fast for this one. My record is 2:36, 2 minutes 36 for this course. The record is 2:06. So might get there one day. But for now it's a local legend. So here you can see your view local legend stats on the right hand side. You can actually see, and that once again shows the histogram with the number of efforts and the total distance that you covered for this course. So that is really how the local legends work, or how to access it. Now just some things to note for this. Local legends, the only segments will count that is set to view for everyone. So you can set some of your events on Strava to be private, but if it's set for everyone, only those activities count towards your local legends. It must be within the last 90 days. And then the other thing is, if you find that you ran a segment and that doesn't count towards your either a CR or a local legend, the possible reason for that could be the privacy settings. So also pretty recently, Strava changed their settings so that the first couple of meters of your activity is hidden. So any segment that falls within that hidden section is not counted towards your overall count for local legends or for your course record. So that doesn't count towards it. Another thing is, if you created a new segment, then all your previous counts for if you ran a certain track a couple of times and you created a segment for that, I'll make a video to show how to create a segment as well. But if you created a segment, then all those activities before you created it doesn't count towards your local legend count. So that's also something worth noting. And then another thing to note is, there can only be one crown, only one laurel crown for the local legend. So if you manage to compete to get to somebody, if somebody, for example, on this page came to 14 efforts, I'm on 14 efforts, if somebody else came to 14 efforts as well, I will still keep the laurel until somebody has passed me. So the first person to achieve the most entries will actually get the laurel. So if I don't keep on running in the past 90, in the next couple of days, then obviously my efforts would become less as the 90-day cycle passed through. So then that laurel will move on as well. And then the last thing to note on this is a couple of times a day. So there's a question, if you run the same segment a couple of times a day, does that count towards your local legend? And the answer is yes, it does. So any amount of times that you run towards in a day on that segment will actually count towards your local legend value. But just something to be aware of is, once again, if you pass that 90 days, so let's say you run the same segment 10 times in a day, and great, you got your local legend status, that's wonderful. But then after 90 days, you will lose 10 instances of your running for that specific day. So unless it's something you want to keep up, it's not something I would advise you to do. But that is really just how local legends work on Strava.